Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he says the Prophet ﷺ was the most generous of people at all times. But he was most generous compared to how he normally is. He was most generous in his own habits and customs and what he used to do. He was most generous in Ramadan, when Jibreel alayhi salam used to sit with him and go over the Quran. In every year he would go over the Quran completely, whatever had been revealed completely in that Ramadan. And then Fatima radiallahu anha, she says, in the last year, Jibreel did this twice, completely going through the Quran twice with the Prophet ﷺ. Now, this has great implications for us. Just imagine Jibreel alayhi salam, who was bringing the Quran from the lowest heaven down to the Prophet ﷺ, sitting together, revising the Quran. One thing, gathering together to recite Quran, go over Quran. The second thing, going over the Quran with one who knows it better than you. Jibreel alayhi salam was the one bringing it down. And the angels don't make mistakes. They only do what Allah has commanded them. Whereas insan can forget. So the Prophet ﷺ, the one whom Allah chose, the one with the most pure heart, he is going over the Quran with Jibreel. His Ustaad, you can say. So this has implications for us. When we're preparing for Ramadan, have we sought out a teacher for us, for ourselves? Whether it be regards to our hifz, our memorization of the Quran, whether it be with regards to our recitation of the Quran, reading it from the Mus'haf. Have we found ourselves a companion? Have we found ourselves a teacher that we are going to make sure we have a portion of the day that we recite in front of this person and that we benefit and increase? For it's so sad that we see brothers who have been practicing maybe for 20 years. When it comes to reciting a verse of the Quran, and I was amazed, this happened to me during the weekend. A brother that I know from so long ago, from my oldest brother's friends, who's been practicing longer than I have, perhaps twice as long as I have. But yet when he came to recite a verse, a very common verse of the Quran, his recitation was as if he had just begun practicing. This is not acceptable for our own selves. Let's not look at others, but for our own selves. It's not acceptable that we go through Ramadan after Ramadan and we don't improve when it comes to our recitation of Quran, our fluency of Quran, our memorization of Quran. It's not acceptable. So if it's not acceptable, and this is the case, then we need to plan. Plan how are we going to allocate a portion of time. It's not about a large quantity in one day. It's about consistency. And this is the hardest thing. Look at the Prophet ﷺ. 30 days, he goes over the Quran day and night with Jibreel. He's sitting with Jibreel. And because of that close connection, and the Prophet ﷺ is happy, he's waiting to see Jibreel and meet Jibreel and sit with Jibreel, he increases in his generosity. He increases in his closeness to Allah. He increases in everything. Everything good he increases. Now, when we talk about Quran and recitation of Quran, the Prophet ﷺ used to do that at night. Why is the night better when it comes to recitation of Quran? During the day you have so many other things that preoccupy you. Other things that take up your time. In Ramadan especially, during the end of the day, if you've been working all day, you're going to get tired, you're going to need a bit of sleep. You're going to be thinking about work, you've just come back, you're going to be tired. But when it comes to the night time, things calm down. Everyone slows down. Then everyone has a greater focus when it comes to what is being recited. But unfortunately, what we do, we go into the masjid. And perhaps most of us don't know Arabic. When we go and we pray behind the imam, it's just words. So we search out for the most eloquent voice or the most beautiful voice, melodious voice. But this is not what the Quran was sent down for. Quran was sent down for us to understand and implement. But when we go, unfortunately, we don't prepare ourselves when we go. The month of Quran means that we take as much benefit as possible. If we truly love Allah and His Messenger, if it were for anyone else, we would learn their language. If we loved them, husband and wife, if they marry from different cultures, they pick up at least portions of each other's language for communication purposes. But this is Allah. This is Rabbul Alameen. This is the one we are meant to love more than anything else. We remember the Prophet ﷺ says, none of you truly believe until I am more beloved to him than his parents, his children, and even his own self. So if we truly love the Prophet ﷺ, we would love to learn his language. Not lip service. We would get off our seats. We would make time, no matter what we have to do, we would make time to learn it. And enough to understand what's being recited. One of the mashayikh that we used to study with, an expert, a specialist in tafsir, he said, if you want to truly appreciate the Quran in Ramadan, before you go to Taraweeh, take a book of tafsir. And he recommended Ibn Kathir. And if it's not the complete Ibn Kathir, then the Mukhtasar by Dar as-Salam. That Mukhtasar that is even in English. Take that tafsir. And before you go to Taraweeh, read that tafsir of what's going to be recited that day. Seclude yourself and read that tafsir completely. And then when you go to the masjid to pray the Taraweeh, you watch how your eyes will not be able to hold back the tears. Because then you truly have gained the meanings. Even if you don't understand it when it's recited, you will remember something. And the more you remember, the greater you will feel that humility, that humbleness, that khushu' that everyone is looking for. That is the importance. Drawing closer to Allah. It's not about voice. It's not about beautiful recitation. It's about really drawing closer to Allah with His words, with their meanings, what they contain of ahkam, wisdom. That is how we draw close to the Quran. When it came to the Salaf, when it came to the scholars of the past, Aisha radiallahu anha, she used to begin at dawn. She used to open the Mus'haf and she would read. And she would continue reading until sunrise, after duha, then she would go to sleep. She would spend all that time reading Quran from the Mus'haf. When it came to other scholars of the past, we have scholars who used to finish the Quran on a regular basis in 7 days. Qatada is one of them. And you find him in the narrations when it comes to tafsir a lot. The companion of Ibn Mas'ud. That was normal. That was his normal habit. 7 days, Quran finished. When Ramadan comes, 3 days. Every 3 days, Quran finished. In the prayer. Then you find other scholars of the past. They used to finish the Quran. Their normal habit was 3 days. Every 3 days, Quran is finished. Then when it came to Ramadan, they would increase. Especially in the last days of Ramadan. The last 10 days of Ramadan, you would find them finishing the Quran every 2 days. And some of them every single day. Now some of you are thinking, the Prophet ﷺ said you shouldn't finish the Quran in less than 3 days. You shouldn't. But then this is the opinion of Imam Ahmad and Ishaq ibn Rahawayh and some others as well. Ibn Rajab quotes it. That this is on a normal basis. You shouldn't finish Quran in less than 3 days on a normal basis. But when it comes to the special occasions like Ramadan, then you leave that general ruling alone. This specific situation demands that we do more. But then, these are the scholars of the past. When it comes to us, we struggle to even finish the Quran once in Ramadan. When it comes to the normal Muslim, when we look around us, you find that average Muslim, he makes a special time to read the Quran. He makes a special time to not only read portions of the Quran every day, but to finish the complete Quran. It's like he makes it wajib upon himself. So he strives hard and he does that. So what about us, who are meant to be more practicing than the average Muslim? If the average Muslim can do that in Ramadan, then the one who is practicing should at least do twice as much. Or is more practicing, should do more. Striving with the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ said in hadith of Bukhari and Muslim, keep reading the Quran, and as long as your heart inclines towards that. When you start getting bored, put it down for a little while. Take a break, do something else. Don't force yourself to do more when you start feeling bored. No, because you don't want to have that feeling against the Quran. Every time you go to the Quran, you want to open it and you want to benefit from its words and you want to delight in what you're reading. You want to delight in your recitation of the Quran. And you will delight when you can recite it well.